Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are at the Strive305 podcast in our, where are we? Miami Community News Studios. We're very excited today. My name is Tico Casamayor. We're here with Irvans, Augustin. He's our co-host. We're both the co-hosts of the show. And we have some very exciting guests here today. We have Mark Gomez from the city of Hialeah, and we have Luzyanis Fraga from Fraga Builders. Before we get to them, let me tell you a couple of things. Number one, we had our first podcast last week. We didn't have guests, but we kicked off the podcast. It was very exciting. Very exciting. I believe we have almost 1,000 views.
Really?
Yes, sir. 1,000 views. So that's very impressive for a first-time podcast. So I want to thank my 500 family members and Irvan's 500 family members, all for watching the podcast. And now let's see if we can get some new guests other than just our family. Another thing is, very excited. Last week, we did not have makeup. This week, they gave me this for my makeup. So I had retouching and keep myself from shining. So I'm very excited that we now have makeup.
It's working.
Okay, all that said, it's working. Look at that. I got beautiful, no shine. All that said, Irvans, why don't you kick us off and give us some interesting and good news and introduce our guests?
It's great to be here. I was going to kick off with the Miami Minute. And actually, since both of our guests are from Hialeah, I figured I'd ask a couple questions. Like, anybody here know when Hialeah was actually founded?
Yeah, 1925. I'll take that one. And if you want
Good
the date,
job.
September 10th.
Good. Extra point. And do you know by who?
No, I don't know that. I don't know that.
You're a city official.
Yeah.
You guys don't get a handbook or
It could
anything?
be, hold on. I would probably guess it's either James Bright or Glenn Curtis.
You are good. They're
Yeah.
both. You got
All right.
both. Look
All
at
right.
that.
All right.
3 points. All right. And then, well, that's awesome. Actually, I actually didn't know that. I looked that up like 10 minutes before we got
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
But it is really interesting to realize how old Hialeah is. I didn't realize that it is. It's going to be almost 100 years now. Do you guys celebrate your centennial yet?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't mind, I'll plug right now the centennial. Yeah, we're celebrating our centennial now this year of 2025. We have a whole year set up of events and just special circumstances that we're doing with the city and with the residents, just kind of showcasing what 100 years of Hialeah looks like, right?
Yeah.
From the very beginning, its inception, all the way till now, it's come a long way. And I mean, we're the second biggest city in Miami-Dade County, the sixth in the state. And it's just a really big privilege to be part of this piece of history of being in the centennial and just having a little bit to do with it. So it's a lot of fun.
Great, great. And last thing I was going to mention, in terms of facts, like the name Hialeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I'll butcher it. But it does come from the Seminoles, and the original name is Upland Prairie or Highland. And that's your Miami Minute. And so we're going to introduce our two guests. One, I'm going to mispronounce your name, so I'm going to call him Miss Fraga for now. Please welcome Miss Fraga, an architect and general contractor based in Miami, Florida. She serves as a principal at Fraga Builders, and they're located in Hialeah. And they specialize in high-end remodeling and new construction projects and focus on delivering sophistication and modern designs for both residential and commercial properties. And I believe you have almost like 15 years of experience already?
That's correct.
Wow, okay.
She started very, very young.
I was about to say.
Keep leaning into the mic.
And so please welcome Miss Fraga. And our second guest is Mark Gomez. If you hadn't already figured out, he is a sitting official. Well, are you an official or are you just a city employee?
I'm a city employee. I'm the
Okay.
Director of Business Relations for the city of Hialeah.
Excellent. So I shouldn't call you mayor.
No.
Okay.
No.
Not yet.
Very far from that.
But he is part of the Division of Director of Business Relations and Sponsorships for the city of Hialeah. Did I get your name correct? And he's helping to foster relationships with local businesses and occurring sponsorships to support city initiatives. And we're excited to have you both here as a small business and city staff officials, and just kind of help us dive into what we're trying to accomplish with the Strive305 is how do we help small businesses? How do we really start connecting dots in terms of how do we elevate all of our community, and great to have you both here. We'll start with you, Ms. Fraga. First, tell us a little about yourself and Fraga Builders.
Wait, before you go, I'm going to do what you're not supposed to and interrupt really quick. want to mention one thing because they're both here for a specific reason for Strive305. I felt that they were like the perfect mix for our first show. We have what we call a business or small business that's going to give us issues, problems, and things for us that how the Strive305 hub can help.
Yes.
And then we have Mark, who has a new position. And this new position is...
Oh, it's a new position?
First of its kind, yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, sir. And it's to help. When he gave me the description of his position, which he will now when he introduces himself, the position was basically the same thing Strive305 Hub does. So it's the perfect combination of Strive305, what do we call resource and small business. And at the end, I'll show you how easy it is. That's how easy Strive305 will help us find someone like Mark in his position, not only Hialeah, but all throughout Miami-Dade County. So I just wanted to get that in. And also, she comes from District 6, which is Kevin Cabrera's, Commissioner Kevin Cabrera's district, who is, I don't think it's announced yet, but he will be the Panama ambassador for us. But that's not official yet, but I can say it because I'm not an official. So he's our District 6, and so I wanted to bring a District 6, which is City Hialeah, and Mark. So it's the perfect combination of the two. All right, sorry, go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Luzyanis Fraga. I am an architect and builder, but not just that, I'm also an immigrant. I was born in Cuba, raised in Costa Rica, and the most important detail would be that I have 2 little girls that I am raising as a single mom. So I would love to start by the fact that I was raised by very hardworking parents who are still small business owners, and I have seen all the sacrifices that they have been throughout the last 30 plus years, and how hard they work in waking up every day and keeping a small business alive, trying to find resources, clients, cash flow. But most important, they've always been very, very, very dedicated when it comes to keeping up with their employees and helping the community, our family back in Cuba, and just creating this great set of virtues that I feel like I can, use as a background to move on with my personal life and my business. So I feel very blessed because around 20 years ago, I asked them that all I wanted from them was to help me go through college. I wanted to become an architect. I always had that very clear since I was very, very young. I would say around 12 or so. And my intention was always to help out.
You wanted to be an architect since you were 12?
Yes, since I was short before I moved to Miami. So I asked them, to help me go through college. And I wanted to create an impact because I saw the impact that they created in the community that they raised me through. I have seen them wake up 5 a.m. every day to keep up with the business requirements to raise a family. And I wanted to do exactly the same. And the reason why I chose architecture is to be able to design spaces that can keep families together. And by that, I mean from a single residence to a multi-family project to a commercial space. It's my intention to live in a community that I can feel proud of when I have a client that comes to myself with a proposal or a scope of work. Being able to guide this client through the process of construction, development, pulling permits in the city, selecting materials, all the way to the turnkey of the project, it's what I feel fulfills me overall. That's why I did not just start my career in the architecture field, but I actually extended it all the way and got to be a certified general contractor in the state of Florida. So I am very glad that Tico invited me to be part of this podcast. I was very nervous to begin with. I am in the process of building a construction firm, woman-led, but not just construction. I want it to be design and construction. I want to make sure that my clients get the best services from the beginning all the way to the end. Always keeping in mind, that any improvement done to a property, it's most important that we actually access the community in a very sentimental way rather than just aesthetically. So I am a firm believer in function over anything else, and that's the base of my business and of my family overall. I also wanted to mention what else?
How long has Fraga been in business?
Well, I've been in
Because you have 15 years of experience, but
right?
Fraga's 15 years old.
No, Fraga is not. Well, Fraga is 35. Fraga is my family last name.
Ah, yes.
So since 2-3 generations back into the last name, my great grandfather was actually a developer back in Cuba.
Okay.
So me and some of our family members in the Fraga family have actually inherited his love for construction. My aunt is actually an interior designer. We work together. My father has taken into the construction his whole life. He's always remodeled homes, and he's always had the intention, along with my mother and my grandparents, to actually make a house more than just a physical property, turn it more into a home. So that's why I like to leave as legacy to my daughters, and not just building a business, but building a family somewhere that they can rely on, that they can call home. And by that, I mean a business, a residence, and anything in between.
That's amazing. And then since you've been the principal, like how long have you been leading Fraga?
I recently got licensed as a general contractor. Before then, I was actually partnering up with other contractor firms to run the construction projects that I was handling. I became an architect back in 2012. I graduated from the University of Miami. But even before then, I was already involved in the architecture field, running construction projects and, doing anything from a schematic design all the way to construction administration.
That's awesome. And so, like, from your perspective, like now, I guess you definitely have seen it all. Like from your family running it for so long, and then also like now that you're leading a business and being a woman, the current ecosystem right now is complicated. There's a lot of things going on, and I'm sure we've all heard it: tariff all week, recession coming or not. We don't know. What is that for you as a small business owner and leading a team? What are you worried about, or what do you see as a concern?
I mean, from every perspective, I'm obviously concerned, not just from running a small business, but also concerned about the businesses around me, my subcontractors, people that I leave work to, not just that give me work. Yesterday, I actually had a conversation with one of my clients. We're planning on moving forward with the home remodeling. And she was telling me, I'm probably going to hold off for the next month or so and see what's going to happen. And we're talking about middle class, homeowners. It's not that they don't have the capital to move forward with the project, but they would rather hold off. So obviously there's major concerns because I would like to continue feeding all the mouths that I have been feeding, not just my family, but all my subcontractors and everyone that I, give business to.
Interesting. And like, how do you feel like in terms of like the municipality, the city, or the county, how do you think that they could help you as part of this uncertainty that you're seeing? Do you think that there's a role for them to play at the moment or not? I
think it's more of a community effort, whether you're from the county or municipality or just a small business owner. And I feel like, associations like the BNI, the Business International Networking, which is where I actually met Tico, can really help us move along through the process of whatever is going to come our way. So I feel like, getting referrals from other professionals without the intention of getting a kickback or, just a word of mouth of how a business owner runs their business very securely, very professional with great customer service can help us all go through this wave that's coming or not.
It's good to hear. I was actually thinking for you, Mark, like as you're listening to some of the things she's talking about and some of the potential concerns, not just for her and the clients that has or may not have. What are you hearing from your end? Like, what are you in this new role? And also, I'll take a step back. Actually, I'm curious. Like, this is a new role that you guys have just started.
Yeah.
Like, how long?
It's actually been about 4 weeks or so.
Oh, literally new.
Yeah. Brand new. It's a brand new concept, and I think it feeds to that. I guess that uncertainty, which we're not sure. Like you mentioned, it's not. No one really knows what's in the future.
Right.
But the idea behind creating a resource for businesses to have it's kind of like a one-stop shop, like a hub of being able to look for permitting. What does it take to start a business? What do those permits look like? How is the process? Is it difficult? Can we guide a business through to I mean, in the city, we've implemented for about 2-3 years now a pre-application process that'll give somebody kind of a guide and say, hey, I want to do this business in this area. Am I okay to do that? And then you'll get the building department, the planning and zoning department, and the license department to say, hey, it looks good. Let's go on to the next
So
step.
you're helping to streamline things.
Exactly. So then the idea behind,
But you're the point person now for all of that?
Yeah. So now most of that will fall under me. Obviously, I'll be working with the administration hand in hand and all the other department directors. So like that, then we can have that one hub where people will be able to come and say, hey, I want to start a business. I want to expand my business. I want to look for a new location, all that stuff. And then one of the things that that I've done, and I'm glad Tico's here because he's a great resource too for us, right?
He's the unofficial mayor.
100%, 100%.
That's what I tell everybody.
So one of the, I mean, most recently, he actually helped me out with a conversation where we just had a conversation on how to bring in some of the private sector to help us out to be a resource for the public.
Work with you directly.
Yeah, exactly. So the Miami Realtors Association, we're trying to figure out a way to work with them. So like that, then the city can have a direct line to say, hey, there's a business that wants to come into the city and wants to own a property to run a construction company, and we don't know where all the real estate is, but we can call the Miami Realtors and say, hey, we have this business that wants to do this. What do you guys have? And allow them to create that private sector.
So you facilitate the connection.
Yeah, and that's the idea, right? It's just to make it a little bit easier. We understand that, I mean, to invest in a city is a lot of money. And it takes a lot of money to onboard a company, to go through all the permitting processes. It takes a lot. And we would just want to make it a little bit easier. And since I've been tasked by Mayor Bovo to do that, I mean, that's just kind of like right now, it's just it's an overwhelming amount of information to try to figure out a way to, hey, let's get businesses open quickly. The idea is not to have a business, somebody's American dream can't take 8 months to take off, right? Somebody's American dream, they're ready to take it off that same day. So how can we as a city make it a little bit easier? Because we understand that unfortunately red tape gets in the way, and the city sometimes is the bad guy, but we don't have to be. We can guide the businesses through it and say, hey, maybe the problem was that you're looking in the wrong space. Maybe we can go to this area that's already zoned for that, or that pump is not on moratorium, which is a big problem in the city of Hialeah, which we've invested in heavily. I mean, in the 3.5 years of the mayor's so far of the mayor's administration, he's invested heavily on streets, on pump stations, on water infrastructure to make sure that specifically the businesses can open up really quickly and make sure that all the process from the city to the county to the state, it's all one fluid motion to get people ready to rock and roll. So
all on the permitting side and things like that.
Yeah. So then that comes back to our side, right? So one of the things that we're kind of like working on now is how to make the process a little bit less manual. All right. Right now the process is extremely manual. It's go bring your stuff, and then it has to go from one. I'm sure you can attest to it, right?
I can explain it all.
So
I just passed it.
So it's you start in one, and then that department has to literally walk plans to another department, right?
Right.
In this case, what we're trying to do, and we're investing heavily in technology, is hey, let's make it a little bit easier. So now I go to the building department, and that same day, if the building department's able to sign things off, it's already in the zoning department, and then it's already in the next department, and then a process that may have taken 6-7 months before is now taking 2 or 3 max.
So
right?
now there's an AI version of Mark.
Well, I hope not, but yeah. The idea is to try to bring in as much technology as possible to help and make sure that we don't get in the way, right? I mean, right. Human error is a real thing. So we just try to stay out of the way as much as possible and allow somebody that's trying to make an investment in the city to make it.
Yeah.
Because the more people invest, the more they're able to open, the more clientele they're able to bring. That's more people in the city of Hialeah that are patronizing our businesses.
Right.
That's what we want. We want to make sure that our businesses aren't only open quickly, but they're successful.
That's good to hear, and I didn't realize you guys were doing so much, and I think you should share that more. I think that's actually really interesting. I didn't know that.
This is why he is here. This is why this position has been created.
Yeah.
And why he's here today.
Exactly.
And he mentioned something about businesses. Finding a location. It's not just about finding a location in Hialeah or all over the county. You want to find a location that your business is zoned for. Sure. You can come in as a construction company, or let's use me, a printing company. Very difficult to get approved to be able to open up a business if you're a printing company because of all our regulations and all the chemical issues and all stuff like that. So for me to go into a space and set up, get ready, apply, get it all, and find out that I'm not zoned for that, and then I have to move and leave that space.
Yeah.
That's what he's here for. He's going to help, along with the Miami Realtors, they're going to help to find you the right location.
Sure.
And not waiting for you to have to wait. After I have also buildings. I get tenants all the time. And once I get my tenant, I sign my lease, they're ready to go. They go get the license at the city and they get rejected. So there we go. I lost a month worth of trying to find a new tenant. So those kind of things is what his position is here for. And I mean, it's huge. And it's what Strive305 is all about, the Strive305 hub. You know, the issue is, how do you find Mark? I find Mark because I know him and he told me about the position. Right. So you and I are probably one of the few people in the world that know about this position until now that they're watching here.
And but all of your family members will know.
And all my 500 family members here. But yeah, but it's exactly what that's about. And now you'll be able to find him on the Strive305 hub. And again, I'll show that later. But what I want to hear more about is some of the pain points that businesses have, and put Mark under pressure to see how he would help us solve those pain points.
How could you do that? I mean, in terms of some of the things that she was talking about for her, of like potentially losing a client, or not even losing, but like putting a client on hold for her as a small business, or are you offering resources, or are there things that she can connect to, or the client connect to help them move forward so she can keep her business?
Sure. I think that's a little different to what we're doing. And I don't want to be, I don't want to be negative toward the idea, but there's going to be a lot of with some of the struggles that are coming, or that might come, or that might not come, or whatever. Yeah. But some of the uncertainty, right? That's going to probably be very specific to business to client relations, right? That's going to be on them. Where we can help is making sure that if in the now there's a business that's struggling with something within the city, code compliance, permitting, trying to get open, maybe there's a water department issue, all of that stuff, we're going to try to streamline it as quickly as possible to get you open. Because if the issue is right now, I have a client right now that's able to do this now, then hey, let's make sure that person can serve that client now. It doesn't fit a need 8 months from now, 9 months from now, 10 months from now.
Well, if a business like hers or others, or Tico's, that have been open for a little while, what other resources do you guys have, or services you guys can help with?
Well, so we're just kind of like a liaison between the business and the city, right? So if let's say that there might be a situation where you got fined for maybe not meeting one of the regulations, right? Although that might be in the state, you get that and somebody gets nervous and says, hey, what do I do? We can help you, right? So we're going to be a liaison between the different levels of government as well.
Okay.
I mean, we have good contacts in the state, we have good contacts in the county, and good contacts in the federal level. So God forbid something happens where now your business is struggling because there's an issue, right? It's like, hey, we can figure it out for you, or we can help you get to that answer, right? I mean, can't say we have all the answers. Unfortunately, that's not. We don't have all the answers, but we can get as close to the answer as possible. Even if the answer is no, at least, hey, now we know what we can work together, what our next step is. So the idea is to be a resource and to try to get as many answers as possible within this process of being a business owner.
I got something else for you, because what's the title again? What's the name of your department?
It's the Department of Business Relations and Sponsorships. Okay,
Business Relations and Sponsorships. So those are all the negative things we're talking about. But there's positive things that he actually, correct me if I'm wrong, that he can be part of too. I'll give you an example, and this is going to put him on the spot now, because our business has been there since, 1976. So that's almost over 50 years. And he told me the other day, hey, we should name the street after your father. That would be really cool, because he's been there 50 years, same space. He has a lot, big space. So that's something positive that his department will do. It's not just about engaging with problems, it's engaging on how to market. That would get us a lot of exposure and marketing. Ribbon cuttings, whenever there's a new business, reach out to Mark. He'll help you set up a ribbon cutting. By the way, we have a ribbon cutting Saturday for a new facility. I'll let you know so that we can have the city out there.
Please do,
Yeah, because they're city Hialeah. I don't think they know that they can do that.
Yeah, we'll
so these are the kind of positive things as well that his department can do. Help networking event. They do networking events. They're going to have resources, I'm sure, where we can find it. All the different networking events.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So actually, one of the things that I've already been working with our communications department is creating kind of like a little website within the website, right? So a landing page inside the city's website, which is not live yet, but hopefully we'll get it up shortly. just to try to show all the resources that are within this department. It's not just on the onboarding of a business, but it's also in the future of the business. Also, are you planning on expanding? Do you want to maybe have a business visit, like where we kind of like showcase what does this business do? Also, kind of like help out and enhance what the Chamber of Commerce does. We have a Hialeah Chamber of Commerce, but how can we also be a resource to the Chamber of Commerce, saying, hey, these two businesses can possibly collaborate together. Let's get them together. Let's get them in the same room. And then, like I was mentioning a little bit earlier before the show, is also creating some sort of an opportunity where we might even do some sort of workshops, right? Where past business owners can come and share their experience of how they onboarded and how they got their success stories. So like that, a new business owner can say, hey, look, it's not that scary. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we do want to invest in this.
And you would host the stories on the sites, or how are you?
Well, we would probably do it on through. I mean, we have a lot of resources in the city through parks that we have, and park spaces, and we have our conference center, our Center for Performing Arts, which is Mylander, which is a big ballroom. So we could do it. I mean, we have a lot of
like an actual event.
Oh yeah. It'll be an actual networking event where we would do workshops, trainings, and networking. Right. So like that. All of the businesses can come together, and that's something that I have an idea for. But again, I mean, we're only 4 weeks old, so we're getting there. We're trying to roll this out little by little. So yeah.
Don't worry, I'm gonna accelerate him.
Have you participated in any of the? You mentioned, was it BNI that you participated, or?
And the chamber, Miami Lakes Chamber.
Miami Lakes Chamber as well.
But have her give us one of those traumatic pain points, those issues. I want Mark to have to deal with one of those. Talk to us about your first grade teacher.
She's already up.
Okay,
we're good.
Let's talk about this
so
first
let's
grade
talk
teacher.
about. I have a great story, and I would hope to get a lot of support from many communities throughout this Miami-Dade area. And today I'm going to be meeting with new client. She's my first grade's daughter, school teacher. I feel a lot of connection with her because also as a single mother, I'm trying to help out other mothers in the community, especially this case. She's a widow. She's a mother of 9 kids. She's a full-time school teacher in a small Catholic school. She puts in tons of efforts to keep together and teach all of our 30 kids their daily, day in and day out, to check their homework, to get them ready, to teach them how to read and write. But not just that, she has to go home to her 9 kids, educate them, and make sure to raise them as a single mom. And unfortunately, a few months back, her house caught a fire, and she was actually forced to move out of it. So now we have a single mom, school teacher, with 9 kids to care for and support, out of her house, living actually in an Airbnb for months now. Yeah. So as an architect and builder, I'm going over to her home today to try to figure out a way that we can help her through the process as a homeowner to rebuild her home back up and get it ready for her to move in back with her kids.
Where does she live?
She lives in the city of Miami Gardens.
Oh, Miami Gardens.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're safe, Mark. On this one.
Yeah, you're safe, but maybe you have good connections that can get us to the right connections.
Sure.
So, we are open for any suggestions on how to maybe raise capital, or maybe there's even access to capital. The situation is very particular because her home was only under her husband's name. When he passed away, she never did the paperwork to transfer over to her name. So the insurance that he had is not really covering for any of the remodelings.
Right.
So we're trying to get a mom of 9 kids back into a safe home.
I didn't know about the 9
Very,
kids.
very soon, as soon as possible, so she can go back, and examples like this really set a great example in the community overall. She's so hardworking. Like, she wakes up every morning. She's always ready for the schoolwork. She's always responding to all of our mom's emails. She's always on top of the class, And this gives me a lot of strength, and it sets a great example for me and other single moms out there to, to not just rely on our close support system, but rather extend it to the community, and as a homeowner and trying to build a life from zero as well. I would love to help other women that need my help, and hopefully the communities as well.
We can definitely check on the, personally for me, I'll check on the Strive305 site. We know there are lists of resources, and there's also another website called accesshelps.org, that also has sets of resources and also many resources for single mothers and other things like that. And I'll be more than happy to share those with you.
If I may, I think I would also suggest possibly talking to the property appraiser's office. I know that they have in the past, and the new property appraiser that was just elected, Tomas Regalado, has recently kind of tried to engage some of those situations where somebody's spouse passes away. They've been living in that property forever, and it should be an easy fix with claiming, hey, that even though the house wasn't in my name, that was my spouse. I was living there. This is their death certificate. This is all of that stuff, and then there might be an avenue there to help out. And the other thing would be to reach out to your municipality also. In this case, the City of Miami Gardens. I don't know how they work. I don't know what their construct is, but we have a Department of Grants and Human Services in the City of Hialeah, where they do different SHIP grants and CBDG funds that might be available for that type of stuff, especially in the case so specific to a fire that has now displaced a family. There might be something. I can't speak for the City of Miami Gardens, but it doesn't hurt to ask. It really doesn't hurt to ask, especially both of those departments, right? The property appraiser's office and whatever grants arm the City of Miami Gardens has.
Those answers that he just gave you there, that's the purpose of this initiative, the Strive305 initiative and the Strive305 Hub website. It's for someone like you or someone like her to be able to go there and find these resources. You shouldn't have to see a podcast. You shouldn't have to be friends with Mark or friends with the property appraiser. You can go there and it'll give you those resources and connect you to those resources. Do we have time to show that little video? I'm going to show you a little video that I did. I didn't want to do it live, so it's basically going to the website, searching for, on the Strive305 Hub website, you go there, you want to find Mark, you just click, go to Business Resources, and when you go to Business Resources, you're going to get a filter down below. You just enter, in this case, Hialeah, because you want to know about your business in Hialeah, and the resource that should pop up, or will pop up, is going to be all of Mark's information. Here you see Mark's information, you click on there, you're going to get a form where you can fill out, and it'll be sent to Mark. It's already all set up. By the way, Mark, that's all set up ready for you. Cool. So you're going to get that information, or if they want to call you direct, your phone number's there, your email's there. So either way, they can do it. The same way that works in the City of Hialeah, it should work in all throughout Miami-Dade County. So it should give us the solution. We'll put it to the test.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll put it to the test, and if it doesn't work,
that's opportunity.
Irvans and I sit once a week to review the website and improve it. So this is the reason we're all here today, for you to give me problems that the website doesn't already solve, so that we can add it to this Strive305 initiative. If we're not improving it, if we're not making better, Mayor Levinka was going to fire both of us and the podcast will be over. So we've got to come up with reasons to continue.
Wait, we work for her now?
Well, sort of. This is her initiative. We'd have to change it to the Tico and Irvans initiative.
Got to talk to men.
And then we'd be stuck at 1,000 followers, because at 500, that's all we got. But hey, that's exactly the reason we're here. You see, so you've created something for us to use and improve. So thank you both. Irvans, if you want to close, I think we're over time. So if you want to close us off, but thank you both. Or if you want me to do the thank yous, let me do the thank yous.
Yeah, do the thank yous.
Okay, obviously we're going to thank Mayor Daniela Levin Cava for the initiative and for having us here. Anthony Bonami, he's one of our leaders.
Yes.
So without him, this wouldn't be happening either. Manny Sid, who told us not to talk about him and not mention him anymore, so I'm going to mention him. Manny Sid. Thank you, Manny Sid.
Cool, Manny Sid.
Yeah, he says, don't worry about it. Don't mention me anymore. But no, thank you, Manny Sid. Without you, I wouldn't be here.
Thank you, Manny.
Yes. Miami Community News and the senator here. And our producer, Amber, in the back there, who had to makeshift everything last minute. I apologize, because they told us keep it to 3 people on the set because it's much easier. So what's our first thing? 4 people.
Bring me 4.
Yeah, we're podcast rebels. I'm probably going to have 5 next week, so just so you know. And then, that's it. Just those are my thank yous. And Irvans, you want to close us out?
You got them all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Manny.
And thank you both.
Thank you for having us.
Really appreciate
the opportunity to help out the community.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Shake hands.